As the spotlight is on the India-US trade relations and of course what US President Donald Trump has been consistently saying as far as his tariff stance is concerned, as well as of course how much of a friend India is, what really is at stake here? Well, the India-US trade factors and figures really in 2024 were as follows. The US imported goods worth $87.4 billion from India. US exports to India were worth $41.8 billion, which makes it a trade deficit of $45.7 billion for the US, which remember, this figure is what Donald Trump, US President Donald Trump, is trying to narrow overall when he's trying to do this pitch of the tariff talk. The India-US trade in 2024 accounted for nearly $10 billion of India's annual gems and jewelry exports. India exports over $2.2 billion worth of automobile components to the US, and major exports to US coming in from India are what all now? Well, of course, the sectors here at stake are quite a few. Major exports coming to the US from India include engineering goods worth $17.6 billion, electronic goods worth $9.9 billion, biologicals worth $8.7 billion, petroleum goods worth $5.8 billion, ready-made garments cotton worth $4.7 billion. So really, what gets expensive for consumers in the US, if indeed this 25% tariff talk does go ahead? Well, automobiles, seafood, gems and jewelries, electronic goods, engineering goods, clothes, of course, anything and everything that you can think of as part of your everyday routine, economists believe, will turn expensive. So this, of course, raises a question to what really happens when a blanket tariff goes ahead versus a trade deal, and what is really the difference between the two. A blanket tariff, remember, will always make inflation rise, inflated costs will come to the surface. A blanket tariff will delay shipments. A blanket tariff will also lead to distorted pricing across the board and pressure on value chains across the board. Whereas a trade deal, even if it's last minute or a mini deal at stake, will of course mean that there are of course reduction in tariffs or completely being eliminated tariffs, either of the two, which means lower prices. A trade deal will boost market access, and a trade deal will encourage investments and create jobs going forward.